All right, guys, here I am flying. This is my first flight in a while. I used to have an RTF kit. That's what I learned on. I learned on a Tiny Hawk RTF kit. Then I moved up to a Nano Hawk FR Sky version. I let my friend fly, but he broke that shit. He broke my shit. Never do that. Only let controlled pilots pilot your craft, but highly recommend you only pilot your craft because it's gonna crash if someone doesn't know your rates. But yeah, here I am flying around my work. I was on like an hour shift because I was doing a double work day. Had 14-hour work day, long ass fucking day, but it was fun flying. I really got some refreshment out of that, especially being so stressed out working, very fast paced in the kitchen. But it's good to get some flight time, especially in days like this where you're just always stressed out. But yeah, definitely don't run your batteries too long or too hard. I found with these batteries that I have, I barely get maybe a minute or two max if I'm trying to rip it. If I was to go real slow and the footage would be even more boring. I could probably get 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes if I'm lucky. But these are 450 milliamp batteries, so they're smaller. But that means it's lighter, so you can do crazier stuff. Right now, my setup is fatshark goggles, the Scouts, and the Radio Master Pocket, and then I'm flying the Flywoo Nano Baby V2. And it's fun stuff. You really don't want to make the mistake though of buying the wrong gear, buying the wrong stuff. It took me some time to get to here because I originally flew bind and flies, so I'd fly like the RTF Tiny Hawk kit, um, and that just it was fun, but it wasn't where you needed to be to really get going. It helped me fly and learn, but what I found is doing some research actually does R&D really it compounds a lot because you save a lot of money and you get a lot more into what you're trying to get. I've been seeing videos of people with DJI drones and the Avata and whatnot, and they're just wasting money. They're spending like over thousands of dollars, $500 on this garbage that breaks, and they have to spend another $500 to fix it. And it's like that's not worth it. It's really not. My kit probably cost maybe roughly $300 in total, and that's not even considering the goggles because the goggles are expensive. That was an investment I put in. But the controller $50, the drone $100. That's bro, right there. You got $150 right there. Then another pair of goggles for $100. You got $300 roughly. That's $250, but who cares about math? Yeah, if you're really trying to save money, do some R&D. Like this drone I just got that you're seeing footage on, I actually fixed it because it broke. It broke. I was flying it, and the person who built it, because it was a bind and fly, whoever was making it, they just didn't care about the battery cords. They put the solder on the battery cords like garbage. It was garbage because my black cord came off, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Got some soldering tools, waited, it came in, and then I fixed it. And when I was fixing it, my red cord came off. So it was really just the person who did that solder on that a flight controller. It was just garbage, top tier garbage. Because after that, once I fixed it and I put my solder on there and I did it correctly, I've been crashing it. You'll see it in this footage. I've been crashing the shit out of my drone, no problems. It's a little tank right now, a little motherfucking tank. But yeah, it's worth it. Once you do some studying and you make some decisions, you can really start to save money because what happens with these companies is they'll make a product and they'll sell it because they're trying to make profit. So they'll make an RTF kit or a nice drone, like a DJI drone, and it'll be overpriced due to them trying to make profit. And it's not overpriced due to the fact that it's not like it's not accurate. It's an accurate price. It's more of the fact that they're trying to make profit. If you're a professional and you're skilled in learning how to build drones, you know your stuff and your knowledge, you could build the same level of technology for half the price, probably even a quarter. What it's really about is the capitalist mindset. You know, it's just the way society is now. But that's kind of the big thing about this hobby is being educated. You know, being technologically literate. The more you are, the faster you can advance through the hobby, and the faster you can fix your problems. Which is why it's so important because I've seen a lot of people, and I've experienced it myself, where you'll fly and you'll crash or you'll break your drone or something weird will happen. You're just like, why is that happening? You know, you don't even know why. Then you have to spend more money to fix it, and it debilitates the hobby for you. So what I found is doing some research, and that is annoying and it does take time. It's invaluable. It's the most valuable thing you could ever think of in this hobby because this is literally where we're getting to the point where it's like if you want to fly something, that's what you need, and not just to fly it, but to fly it correctly and enjoy it. Um, it's like thinking about UFOs and flying saucers. It's like we're pretty much there. We're pretty much there to get a flying saucer, but it's like how would you be able to get that if you don't know how to build it, right? How would you be able to fly a flying saucer if you don't know how it works? And it's the same thing with these drones. It's how are you going to operate this craft if you don't even understand what it is? And that's kind of the downside. Is there's a lot of people here who they get into hobbies and things because it's like, oh, this looks cool, this looks fun, and you know, I have ADHD, so I'm the same way. But this hobby changed my life. I realized like there's no going back. It's not just oh this is fun and then you know you quit it for a week. Like I was out for a year. My friend broke my drone and then I broke my other one. I had like two drones. They both broke. I didn't know how to solder. I knew nothing about that. I was out for a year and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna learn my shit and get my shit together and you know, a year later, here I am ripping it around. I got footage now. I'm making this video right now. You're watching, but it's vital because you're gonna end up in a situation where you're like, why did I spend all this money? Why did I do all of this shit just to not even get where I want to be? And that's kind of the thing where it's more about the ignorance. You know, you're not meant to be hog wild riding this shit and thinking you're the best person ever because that's what I'm really seeing in this hobby now is um you know I think that the more popular it get the more people would get knowledge, but now it's just people are getting more arrogant and ignorant. They're like, oh, I could fly a drone, and then they don't know how to fucking fly a drone. They just fucking crash it, and then they're like, oh no, my drone's broken. It's like, well, no shit, you just drove into a wall at 200 miles an hour. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? And it's like these people it's really debilitating because they're also the reason why we have these laws. Like I'm flying around, I'm doing crazy shit in this video. I understand that, but I understand the context of what my drone can do, what it can do to things when I hit it, and I am pretty good at flying. You know, like I'm not the worst, I'm not the best, but I'm adamant enough to the point where I know I'm not going to crash into somebody or into a car. The only thing I crashed into was a fucking tree. And that's the ironic part is I crashed into the same tree twice. That motherfucker is like a magnet. Um, but yeah, it's it's more about why do the things you do and how to do it because it's like that Super Bowl game or the Ravens game, the Ravens football game where that dude was flying his drone. It was like he didn't even know what the fuck he was doing. It's like you got to understand the context of where you are and what you're doing. There's a lot of idiots out there. I'm definitely a big ass idiot, but I'm at least in a controlled idiot. I can understand some of the context in which my bullshit can go. I feel like a lot of people they just do some bullshit and they're like, "Oh, it'll be fine. It's good. Oh yeah, sure." They don't realize, no, bro, you just fucking decapitated a baby with your giant ass propeller on your fucking 10-inch quad. Like, you can't do that. That's not acceptable in any legal ramification or moral ramification. So, lesson be learned. If you have a pet bird, don't fly that shit next to it. If you got a baby, don't fly it next to it. Don't do stupid shit. Learn how to build a drone. Learn how drones work. Learn all this shit, because it took me some time. It took me a year, a literal year, 365 fucking days, just so I could get this garbage ass footage out. So I want all of you to realize just how far it takes and how long it takes to get to where you really want to get to in life. It's not an easy process, but once you get there, it's fun. Cause I definitely had a good ass time. See you next time and have a great night.